Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Shelton. I'm one of the art teachers at Hispanic Community Schools, and today I'm going to talk to you about a project called Papel Picado. Now, we are going to be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, which goes from September 15th to October 15th. And during this time, it's kind of a time for us to focus on the Hispanic heritage, the culture, and the different traditions of Hispanic people, which I think is pretty cool because it's different from where I come from and different from my background and my culture, so I'm always interested to learn about others. So, this Papel Picado is hanging up right now in my garden because I'm getting ready to have a cookout and a family gathering, so we have this hanging up as a decoration for our celebration. Papel Picado can be used for many different celebrations. What it is it's paper that's been cut out. Traditionally, it is made out of tissue paper, but at home I didn't have tissue paper, so I just used regular construction or copy paper. And we cut this out and we put it on a string and taped it on the back, and we hung it up, kind of like these flags in our garden. So these are generally used for different celebrations like parties, birthdays, quinceañeras, weddings, baptisms, christenings, all different types of celebrations. A lot of towns use them for festivals. If they have big festivals where a lot of people are coming in, they'll hang them up with a bunch of different lights and flags all over the town, kind of in bright, beautiful, bold colors, so that when people come in, it's really cheery and welcoming. We're going to go down to my art studio. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Papel Picado, and I'm also going to teach you guys how to make your own flags and your own string so that you can hang them up in your home or on your patio or anywhere you'd like. Come on in and I'll show you.
Let's go.
Hi boys and girls. Here we are now in my art studio. And a few minutes ago, we were up in my garden and I was showing you my Papel Picado hanging in my garden, getting ready for my big family gathering and my cookout. So now I'm going to kind of go through how you make a Papel Picado or a cut paper. And the way that I made the ones upstairs, the one hanging in the garden, was using paper and scissors. Now, I do have a sample down here so you can kind of see what it looks like. But really the traditional way, or the way they did back in the day, was using a mallet and a chisel. And they would stack all the paper up so they can make a bunch at one time. Now, they did not use copy paper like I have here. They used a really thin tissue paper. But since I don't have any tissue paper at home, I'm going to kind of improvise a little bit. So they would take their chisel and they would put it on the stack of paper and they would tap, tap, tap away. And somebody who was really skilled or really good at this could tap away and get all these itty bitty, beautiful, intricate designs. And they would just kind of chisel away, tap away. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen the Disney Pixar movie Coco, but at the beginning of the movie, they show this beautiful Papel Picado, and the Papel Picado tells a story. So it kind of tells the story of Coco, and you see the animation in the Papel Picado, but that's a really interesting, good resource for you guys to check out and show you some of the different designs in that. But, so say you were really skilled and you were really amazing at this, you could chip away at this, and you could cut out all your little designs and make it really beautiful. And then when you were done, you would have all of these, so you could make a huge, huge, huge string with lots of these cut pieces of paper hanging, and you can make a ton at one time. But how I'm going to show you guys for today is I'm going to show you a way that is more easy for younger children. We're going to use scissors. So if you have a pair of kid scissors, great. If you have grown-up scissors, please make sure you ask a grown-up before you get these big scissors out, and make sure you let someone know that you're going to be using these. Okay, so I'm going to clear my space. I'm going to set these aside. And now I have just some construction paper, a variety of colors. And you want to, if you have in your house a bunch of bright colors, that's great. Now let's say you only have plain white copy paper. Like I just happen to have a stack of copy paper from my computer. So you can make it out of plain white paper if you want, and then you can go ahead and you can color the paper with paint or with crayons or colored pencils, whatever you have to make your paper bright and beautiful. But since I have a couple different pieces of color paper, I'm gonna choose some bright colors. So I'm gonna take some yellow here, and I might pick a red out, because we want it to look really festive and inviting. Because if you remember, we can use this for all different types of celebrations. We can use it for birthdays, quinceañeras. A quinceañera is a party that the Hispanic culture celebrates for when someone turns 15. So you can use it for a baptism, you could use it for Christmas, you could just use it for a family gathering like I have outside at my house, just to make it welcoming. So I've chosen a couple bright colors, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set these aside. And I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with purple. And the very first thing you're gonna do is kind of get your area set up, because this is going to get a little bit messy, but it's an easy cleanup because all it is scraps of paper. So you're gonna take your paper and you're gonna fold it in half. And I like to call this the hamburger way, because this is more like a hamburger bun. Okay, if I fold it like this is more like a hot dog bun. So I'm gonna use the term hot dog and hamburger to help you with your folding. So we're gonna start by folding it the hamburger way. Make sure you line up your corners. You're gonna want your corners to line up like this. Line up the best you can. Go ahead and crease it. So right now, it kind of looks like a book, okay? So when I open it, like a book. So after I have it folded like a book, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fold it again, the hamburger way again. And now it's like a tiny book. And I'm taking my fingers and I'm running my fingers across the edges to crease it down. This helps to hold my paper down better. Okay, so now when I open it, it's like a tiny book. Now, you can do this two different ways. If you think you might know how to cut some shapes out of the side yourself, you can go ahead and you can cut. For example, I could go ahead and I could cut like that. And if I come back in, it's like a triangle. Now, see how this piece fell out? The piece has to fall out. If you do something like this, and the piece doesn't fall out, when you open this, you're not going to see the shape, okay? You want to be able to see the shape like this, okay? And if you don't let that piece of paper fall out, when you open it, the paper's still going to be stuck in here, and we're not gonna see this open shape, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this one a little bit better so it pops out. Now, if you're not sure how to cut the shape by yourself, and they don't all have to be triangles, I can even cut something like this, kind of like a circle or a half circle. So if you look at that, it kind of looks like a happy face. If you turn it like that, it kind of looks like a sad face. So if it's easier, you can get a pencil and you can go ahead and you can draw right on here. So you can see my pencil lines here. I went ahead and I drew these with a pencil. And the reason that I used a pencil is because when I'm cutting, if I don't get exactly on my pencil line, I can go back in and I can erase it. Now, if you don't have a pencil at home, that's okay. You can use a crayon or a marker or whatever you have to draw with. Just if you use a pencil, if I don't get on the line, I can erase the line when I'm done. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut on my pencil lines here. Make sure your shapes are falling out. You also want to be careful that you don't cut too far across on the paper. So I have some shapes here. Make sure you have some space here where you have the paper left. Otherwise, it'll come apart in two pieces when we open it up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm trying my best to cut on the line, making sure my little shapes fall out. Now this paper is not too bad. It's not too thick to cut. Sometimes if you get some really thick paper. Now, if you do not have color paper or white copy paper, remember you can recycle. You can rip a page out of a magazine with permission. You can use a piece of newspaper, because that's real thin and you can fold that up. But with all of those supplies, just please make sure that you get grown-up permission to make sure that they're finished reading the magazine and they're okay with it being cut up, or they're finished reading the newspaper. Make sure that your family is ready for that to be recycled, or they're ready to get rid of that before you cut the pages out of that. So now that I have my shapes cut, so I have shapes on this side, this side, this side, and this side. I'm ready to go ahead and open it. This part is pretty exciting because when you open it, you have what appears to be kind of like a snowflake. So if you have experience with cutting paper out, a lot of people have experience cutting out white paper and making snowflakes. So this is similar to that. So I have this one done. So I would cut a whole bunch out. Now, if you get really good at doing this with just making 2 folds in the paper, 1, 2, you can experiment now and you can make more than 1 fold in the paper. So you could go ahead and you could fold it the hamburger way, just like we did with the first one. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna scooch my scraps out of the way, keep them in a little pile for cleanup. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it this way. Okay, so remember, I folded it into a little book. Now I can go ahead and I can fold it again into another tiny little book. So if I open this back up, I'm just going to go through again and show you. I folded it once. I folded again twice, so that's 2 times. And then I folded again 3 times. If you want to get really tricky, you can fold it 4 times, but I will tell you it's pretty tough if you're using construction paper to cut through all of those layers. So if you have a thinner paper, like you might have tissue paper at home, or if you have a piece of newspaper or a piece of paper from a magazine, that paper is much thinner than construction paper, so that would be easier to cut through. And you're going to do this the same exact way we did the last one, okay? I'm going to go ahead, just to give myself some guidelines, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my shapes. So I did a triangle, I did a half circle, another triangle, I'm going to do a rectangle, I'm going to bump over here, okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these out. Now remember, this one's going to be a little bit tougher because our paper's a little bit thicker. So I'm going to use my muscles. And remember, I'm using grown-up scissors, so they're going to be a little bit sharper than the kid scissors. If you had kid scissors, that might be a better option. But at this point, you can use whatever you have at home. Doing art from home can be a little tricky when we have to improvise with our supplies. So, you know, just use whatever you can find or whatever you have. Be resourceful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this one out. It is kind of exciting. My favorite part is when you open it and you get to see what the design looks like. It's like the big reveal. And every few minutes I just kind of scooch use my hands like a little bulldozer, put them in a little pile. Oops, it appears that some of my backdrop is falling down, but we're going to continue to cut. My guitar just fell down in the behind me. That's okay, we're going to keep going. Okay, scooch this over. I'm going to cut this out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this one. And this one's going to have more designs because we folded it more. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, huh? I do like this one. So this one has less design and we folded this one twice. This one has more design and we folded this one 3 times. So you guys can experiment with how you fold your paper. Okay, I'm going to get set up and I'm going to show you guys how to put this together. Okay, you guys, here we go. We're going to get set up here and I'm going to give you a couple different choices that you can use to connect your Papel Picado to. So it has to be some sort of string or, so I have some yarn. So you can use something like this. I also have some ribbon from wrapping presents. So you could use something like this and this will make a long. And then I have something like this, okay? And you might be wondering what this is. Well, I had to get creative because I'm at home and my supplies are limited. So I happen to have this old t-shirt. Again, something that you must get parent permission. You may not do this without asking a grown-up. So ask a grown-up in your house, do I have an old grubby t-shirt that I don't wear anymore? It works best with t-shirt material because t-shirt material is stretchy. Do not go and cut up a really good t-shirt, okay? And please make sure you ask. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the way that I got that is you go to the bottom of the shirt, okay? This is the part that goes down around your waist because that's gonna be the widest part. Keep it together like this, okay? Again, please get parents help with this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this like this. I'm gonna cut all the way down. Okay, and when I get to the bottom, I'm gonna snip it off. And if you look, I have a long piece. Now, if you want it to be longer than this, you can do that a few times and you can actually tie the 2 pieces together like this. So I'm going to tie the 2 pieces together like this to make a really long piece. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. Okay, so you see how this hangs like that? The string is kind of going in and out of these little holes right here, and it hangs without having anything to stick it on there. So I can do that again with the next one, and I can weave it in. It's kind of like weaving. And out, like that. And again. Well, this will work if you have tape or something, so that works pretty well. But if you have tape or glue, here's what we're going to do with the tape or glue. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one apart. And I like to take these and I line them up like this. And I kind of put them next to each other. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my string on top like this. So it just lays on top of my paper. And I get tape like this. And I just put like 2 or 3 tiny pieces. You don't need a ton of tape. 2 or 3 tiny pieces will hold this on really well. Okay, I take my finger, smooth it down to kind of reinforce it so it sticks pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. Now, if you don't have tape, you can use glue. Now when using glue, there's a little trick to the glue to make it stick a little bit better. So those are hanging nicely. I'm gonna scoot them down. I have this. You take the top of the paper, okay, and you fold it down to make like a little fold. This is gonna be like a little place that you're gonna hide the string. So I would put my string in here and I'm gonna put it down so it hides my string. But before I put my string in there, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take my glue stick, and in that pocket, I'm gonna go down the crease where the paper is folded. I'm gonna put my glue in here like this. Always put the cap back on your glue stick, because I'm telling you, if you come back in an hour, it's gonna be ruined and you're gonna be sad. Okay, so I lay my string down in there, and I go ahead and I fold this over. This one is a little bit messier, but it works. I'm gonna smooth that down. I might have to go back in, put a little bit more glue here. Doesn't want to stay down on that little lip. So now I have glue. Push that down and smooth it. Now, again, do not forget to put the cap on your glue stick. This might take a second to kind of reinforce this one. Hold it. I might sing the ABCs while I do this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I did that really fast for video purposes. Now when I turn this around, I have these all hanging like this. Now, you can definitely make more than 3. I just made 3 for this one, but I have these hanging in my classroom a lot of times where I have like probably 10 or 15, just depending on how many pieces of paper you have. You can have as many as you want. You can hang them in your room, you can hang them outside on your patio area if you have an outside area, you can hang them in your kitchen, wherever you want to make your place look cheerful and welcoming. And remember, take your time, be creative, have fun, and don't forget to get parent permission before using some of the supplies like the t-shirt and the sharp scissors, and get creative. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Good luck.